Bung Bung.
Oh my god, it's so big and strong.
Bung Bung Coffee. Big, strong flavour. Competition? I don't think so. bungbungcoffee.com. Get yours.
Welcome to the party. Best show on the internet. Ask anybody. You know it's easy money. Sit back, relax, get your headphones, everybody. Welcome to the party. Blackout in the booth. Every episode's a party. We go hard like Ricky Bobby. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This is welcome to the party.
What's going on, bro? What's happening?
Oh, just grinding, you know.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah.
Yeah, are you doing a show this year, next year?
Yeah. I gave it a run at Sydney Fringe. And it felt good, but I could not sell a ticket, so I was doing it to like 2 people every night.
Yeah, it sucks so badly. It sucks so badly the start bit. Where was your room?
The is it called the Matchbox at the Factory Theatre?
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're at the Factory.
Yeah.
Did they help at all?
They shared a couple of my posts and stuff. I saw that. But
do you have mates in Sydney?
Oh, a few, not
really?
A lot, not like a whole crew I could bring along. I had a couple friends come on the Friday, but
yeah, it sucks, especially when you're like, if you're like paying for like a hotel.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is such a, and you're like away from your family.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I just did that. Yeah. But we all did
a lot
it.
of money, but the show developed, so that was good.
That's good. That's so awesome. Have you heard of Meg Yeager? She's this, she's a Brisbane comedian who lives in Melbourne now, but she did The Fringe. Such an epic story. She performed. There was 2 people in the front row, 2 people in the room. That's it. A man and a woman. They didn't know each other, so they were sitting a couple of chairs apart. Meg, she said she got to the bit of her show which was the most vulnerable. So this is about halfway through. And it's not super vulnerable because she's not that kind of comedian, but she said she got like a little bit vulnerable in it. And just as she hit that moment, the woman stood up and left.
Oh my god! I'd feel so much pressure to stay as an audience member.
Oh, totally. If you're 50% of the audience, it's like it's an hour of your life, bro. Just sit down. And so this woman just stood up and walked out, and Meg was like, "Oh, you know, you can't not address it. If there's 30 people in the room, one person walks out, you're just like, let's hope no one else saw that. And if I don't draw attention to it, maybe everyone will be like, maybe they go to the toilet. But because it was a woman stood out, Meg had to be turned to the guy, the one remaining audience member, and was like, are you going to leave too? You're welcome to leave if you want. He was like, no, I'll stay. And he didn't laugh at all.
Oh my
smiled.
God.
I know, he smiled, and she said to him like, she'd do a joke and he'd smile, and then she'd say, did you like that one?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing, because I would feel the same way. Like I don't want to be like belting out a laugh in a room by myself.
Oh, no, everything's intimidating. Yeah. As an audience member, it's intimidating being the only ones in there.
Yeah, you're just as vulnerable as the act.
Yeah, but there's the comedian in Sydney called Kate Dolan. She's British, but she lives in Sydney, and she's so funny. And she she's performed to 2 people heaps of times, but she performs exactly the same to 2 people as what she would 100.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, I just need to keep remembering that, because it stings when you see a tiny amount of people in the room. You're like, oh, I don't want to do it. They don't want to like, if I just like offer them their money back. But she goes out and tears it up, and then those 2 people just leave and go, fuck, she was amazing. And then eventually more people come along. But it's hard. Your ego hurts, and you're like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it's tough. But also like the good thing about being in Sydney, I guess, for it was that I was like, I'm here for comedy. I can't just like cancel shows, so I'll just do it. Whereas like in Adelaide, it would have been so easy to be like, no, I'm not fucking doing this.
It's good you did it. You know, there's much weaker people who would say, I'm not doing it, throw it in. Heaps of people cancel last minute. It's like, come on, you just have to do it. 2 people's fine.
Yeah. And now I know I can. I've never done that before. So now I know that I can do it as well. It's pretty intimidating. I've cancelled shows like Adelaide Fringe in like a 80-seater, had like 9 people. So I was like, nah, cancel that. And then I'm in Sydney, I'm like, 9 people would be pretty fucking nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. It's when you actually realize what a small audience is. You're like, oh, okay, I've had it pretty good in Adelaide, haven't I? I think Adelaide's hard to sell tickets. I really struggle to sell tickets in Adelaide.
It's just
Holy
grown
shit.
so much that it's like it's so saturated. How do you choose?
Yeah.
And then
That's a
everyone
good
buys
point.
tickets to the same old like Peter Hellier and Tom Gleeson and stuff. What can you do? Yeah.
Totally. And they're like, they have not it's so oblivious. Like I spoke to Gleeson last Fringe and he was like, yeah, it's going well. But,
Yeah.
you know, fine. And I was like,
Must be going well for everyone. Yeah.
Oh my God, I've seen you eat every year. Can't I go see someone else?
Yeah.
I'm only doing 2 days this next year. Only doing 2 days at Rhino Room.
Where? Oh, at Rhino.
Yeah, at Drama Llama.
Yeah, I love that.
Last time, it's a good room. Yeah, last time I did 6 nights there, and it was a real struggle to sell tickets. I was like, but it's also fair enough because Adelaide gets the worst of us. Like I think Perth gets the absolute scum of the world, like because everyone's like, I think this is a show, and poor cunts in Perth are just like, if that's as good as it gets, all right, yeah. And you're like, well, it is for you. And then by the time you get to Adelaide, it's a bit better, but it's still like pretty rough and ready. And everyone's just like working up to Melbourne. So I'm like, it makes sense. Adelaide's kind of a bit underwhelmed by what comes through. But they've, if you talk about a point of comparison, like when you get a 9-person audience and you think, fuck, that's not good, and then you get a 2 and you're like, 9's awesome. I just want to tell Adelaide, you have no idea the shit that Perth gets.
Yeah.
If you could just see what Perth got, holy hell.
Yeah. I'm doing the full run for Adelaide, so that'll be pretty brutal, but I don't have to pay for accommodation and stuff, obviously. So,
exactly. You may as well. This is like, I'm always amazed when people in Melbourne only do half run. I'm like, dude, you live here. Yeah. What else are you doing? Like, what do you fucking do? And people without kids, have you noticed this since you've become a dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, like people without kids, and they're like, oh, I don't know. And you're like, what? Do you know how much fucking time you've got?
Yeah.
Do you know how much you can do? Do you know how much sleep you can get?
Yeah. But I work from 9 to 4:30, so like my whole day is gone. I was like, nah, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. You deserve to not succeed. Yeah. Goodbye. Yeah. I get so enraged with people. Like there was, oh my God, there was an article written. I don't know if you read it. I think it was in The Age or The Guardian. I think it was about burnout, and it was all of these, unfortunately, non-binary and female comedians. Like they could have got a bloke in there, but it was all not female non-binary comedians saying it's really hard. It's the burnout's real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure, I appreciate it. Okay. However, it does really feel like it's just like non-binary and female people going, this is hard. Yeah. Like we really don't need that. We really don't need people thinking that we find this hard. Like you just gotta pretend that it's not hard and get on with it. And that's probably a very toxic way to think. But Christ almighty, I was like, please just interview one bloke who's found this hard, please.
It is tough to like to sell it as a hard lifestyle when you people see it as you going out to the bar every night.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I want to throw up like with nervousness, and then I have a shit night. I want to kill myself. I'm so bad at comedy. My parents hate me.
Exactly. It's so funny. I had and also the unpredictability of it. Like if you worked at JB Hi-Fi, for example, let's just say that.
Yeah.
You work in retail, you're like, cool, I might get some difficult customers today. Someone might walk in and they might be like, hey, I'm a bit annoyed by this fucking USB. Look, I've never worked there, obviously. And then they could be rude to you. Someone could come in, someone might steal, whatever. Like there's a little bit of variation in how your day could be, or nothing could happen. I mean, I could go, it was a pretty boring day. It's boring, or a little bit happened, whatever. But in comedy, it could be, you don't know, it could be you're walking into a venue going, this could be the worst gig of my life.
Yeah.
The worst thing could happen to me on stage, and it happened to me recently, is so I don't even know when you want to start, but
No, you're good. We'll just ease into it. We'll go through the
okay, cool. I
yeah,
just gigged the other night, and I the same thing. I'm in the car. I have the exact same little voice in my head every single time I get to a gig. Doesn't matter how long I've been doing it. It always happens. It goes, "This could be the worst gig of your life, Bron." And I go, "Well, here we go." And then I walked in, and it was at this gig in Melbourne called Local Laughs. It's in St Kilda, very wholesome room. It's run by Janet McLeod, a lovely lady who's been in the industry for a billion years.
Oh,
She's
I've
only
met Janet. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably
the colourful clothes and stuff like
yes.
that. Yes.
Yes. She'd love you. Yeah. Yeah. She's a lovely lady, and she creates this space that's really like safe. Anyway, I was on first. So I was like a late ring in. Someone called in sick. I was like, yeah, fine. I'll be on first and I'll get out of there. Walk in, still had that little thought of this could be the worst gig. I was like, who cares, bro? I'm like, it's this beautiful room. What are you talking about? I go in. The host starts, and he's this really lovely man who's got like a kind of like Christian dad vibes. Really lovely, like lots of dad puns. The whole, like, he's setting up the scene of this is a nice, warm, easy night, guys. And then the crowd is loving it. We're all having a good time. I get up, and it's just after school holidays are finished. So there was a table of ladies who were like 4 women about my age, late 30s, and a lady with them on the end who was like in her 70s. Okay. So I said, oh, what's going on here? And the women were like, oh, we're all sisters and this is our mum. I was like, that is beautiful. The whole audience was like, oh. And I was like, that's so nice. This is so good. And I said to the nan, have you got 4 kids? And she goes, no, I've got 5. And I went, oh my God, I'm one of 5. And I said, who's number 3 to the ladies? And one lady was like, oh, and she was still so excited. And I said, oh, I'm number 3. How shit is it being number 3? You're so easily forgotten. She was like, yeah. And all the other sisters like, oh, and it was just like this really joyous little vibe that was happening. And I said to her, do you have kids? And she was like, yeah, 3. And I was like, fuck, me too. What are the ages? And she said like 9, 10, and 3. And I was like, same. I was like, oh my God, we're twins. This is crazy. We've finally collided. And everyone was like, wow. And it was all going so nice. The good vibes were fucking through the roof. And then I carry on with my set, and I come back and I say to the ladies, now, have you all given your mum grandkids? And the lady on the very end, the one furthest away from the nan, says, yeah, I've got 3, she's got 2, she's got 1, and then points to the lady who's my twin. And I said, yeah, we know she's got 3. She goes, no, she used to have 4.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay. And then the woman who's my twin bursts out laughing, like this hysterical, manic laugh, like really high pitched, and the whole room just turns into ice. And the 2 like sisters who haven't said anything are kind of like look really uncomfortable. The nan looks real sad, and the woman who's pointed this out, who's made this announcement, is kind of frantically searching the room and like trying to read her sister who's laughing so much. And everyone's kind of looking to me like, what the fuck are you going to do now? And I said, okay, it's all right, guys. I think we can relax. I mean, she's laughing, so I want to think that it was like a dead fur baby, or like like maybe it's an unwanted step kid who's no longer in the picture. Let's try and think positively, because it really sounds like we're talking about a dead kid, and that's just not something someone would bring up at a comedy night, right? And everyone was kind of looking at me like pleading with the pleading eyes, like, please fix this. And then I said, but she's laughing, guys, so we're going to go back in because she's laughing, so I think we're okay. And I said, have we got this wrong? And she goes, no, I am laughing, but I'm also crying. And we were like, oh no. And she goes, I don't know why she's brought that up. And then the nan has got her head in her hands, and the 2 other sisters got their head in their hands, and the woman who's called it out, she just yells, I just want everyone to know how amazing you are.
Oh my God.
And I had 6 minutes left. I was like, I cannot tell you how much I hate this profession right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've got 6 more minutes about kids anyway.
Exactly. It's like, what do I do? I was like, how do I get away from this? All I have. Anyway, it was hell. I walked out the back, and there's this comedian. You know him, Oliver Coleman.
Yeah.
He was standing in the green room, like just holding his head, and he's like, "Bron, what the fuck just happened?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know." And he goes, "Was she talking about a miscarriage?" And I was like, "No, a mother of 3 does not refer to a miscarriage as a dead fourth child. That was a kid or a baby." Oh my God. And then after I'd kind of explained my definition of the difference between a miscarriage and a dead kid, I left, and I was like, I think I've chosen the wrong career.
Oh man,
I can't get that in JB Hi-Fi.
Brought that up. It's so weird to like publicly announce about someone else. Like, you know, give your own information out as much as you want, but like to just like air that out in public is fucking insanity.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's like it is it does look fun, and some nights are so fun, but then there's other nights where you're everyone's looking at you trying to fix a dead baby situation, and you're like, I can't fix that, guys. I don't have the tools.
Wow.
Anyway, thanks for having me on your podcast. It's really good to see you, mate. It's been ages.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen you since maybe Brisbane. It's been a long time anyway.
Yeah. And how old's your son now?
He is 2.5.
Oh, so cute. I said saying to my partner, I was like, you got to see this kid. It's the cutest kid I've ever seen in my life. He's so beautiful.
He is cute in pictures, yeah.
In pictures. You're supposed to say that.
He's really going through the tantrums at the moment and pushing boundaries and testing everything out. So yeah, it's a beautiful time. I think there's so much crying over absolutely nothing. But yeah, it does get better. And choosing parents, which is hard. Like I'm the favorite, but that means I have to do everything. And
oh shit, you're the favorite?
Yeah, and can't even like, if I'm putting him to bed, Rach can't even like get his milk for him. Like he won't take it from me.
Oh, poor Rach.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That's rare that the dad's the favorite. I mean, it happens. I've seen it happen, but it's rare. So poor Rach, she'd be like, fucking hell, I sacrificed my body for this.
Yeah. It's been about 12 months as well.
Oh, yeah, because you're like, this is a stage. This is a stage. He'll come back. Yeah.
But it was 18 months of like mummy, because she was breastfeeding and all of that. So I didn't matter. So I was
he's just punishing her. That's right. Maybe it'll change. Yeah, but Ari is obsessed with me. Like, I wake up and he's literally hugging my head. Like I'm fine. I'll wake up from almost suffocating. I'm wrapped up in his bluey pajamas. I'm like, mate, give me a second.
Yeah.
Can I just wake up? Yeah. But it hurts Lucas's feelings sometimes. He's like, fuck, he won't let me do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, it's okay. It's a stage.
Ari's the youngest?
Yeah, he's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
3.5 is a fun age. You can, talk a bit. It's the best.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of like understanding how time works. You're like, if you do this after, we can do that. Whereas before, like I remember 2.5, he was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And you're like, okay, I can't reason with this psycho.
Yeah.
No way. No point.
So we decided we'd watch The Office, the Australian Office.
Did you watch it?
I did. I just finished the last 2 episodes last night. Comedy, action, horror. Will this movie win an Oscar? Set design, directing, acting, lighting, or costumes. This segment is Clay's Reviews.
I've heard so many people talking about it, and I'm like, I'm ready.
And they're they're like 25 minutes episodes. It's very digestible. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Totally. And you can like zone out a bit. It's not one. Sometimes you get movie, like I've been on podcasts with movie stuff, and I'm like, they'll give me a movie, and I'll be like, I can't focus on this, but I know they're going to ask me stuff about it, and I'm fucked. Yeah. Anyway, but this one's easy.
Yeah.
Right? Did you enjoy it?
Yes and no. I'm a big Office fan. So
Which
I
one? Both?
I like both, but I think just the US one because it goes so much longer. Like
Yeah.
the UK one, you get about the same as what we've got for the Australian one. So the American one goes longer, the characters develop, there's so much more like narrative arc to it. Until like the last couple of seasons, once Steve Carell leaves, it's a bit crappy, but
does he get replaced? Do you know, I've never watched the American one ever.
they replace him. They have a lot of tryouts. So Will Ferrell comes in for a bit. I think for some reason I'm thinking maybe even Jim Carrey comes in for an episode. And then I forget the actor's name, but his name in the thing is Robert California. Oh, do you know The Blacklist? Nah. Some older guy. He's James Spader.
Okay.
James Spader.
Okay, well done.
He ends up completely replacing him, and he's not like Michael Scott at all. So he's not trying to be that guy, which is good.
Okay, this is interesting that you say that. Okay, because I think this is why everyone's so. It's that like this. It's so complicated. It's like we love this show so much. Like this show's so amazing that each country is going to have a go at replicating it.
Yeah.
But if you replicate it too closely, they're like, hey, what are you doing? But if you're not close enough, they're like, not even close. What are you doing?
This isn't even The Office.
Yes. Yeah. Where is the fine? Like, what are you supposed to get? Like the essence of it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just felt like a poison chalice, like there's no way anyone was going to embrace this show.
Very brave of the actors to want to be a part of it, because you have to know that it was going to be a tough gig to get accepted.
I think, and like I remember when the auditions happened, I wasn't asked to audition for anything, but I remember there was a number of comedians who went for it who were like desperate for it because to be a part of it.
Yeah,
because it has the potential. It had the potential to be loved. So I think there were a lot of people who were desperate for, and also there's hardly any opportunities in Australia for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it would have been internationally watched. Dave Brent, Ricky Gervais would have watched at least some of it. He might have gone into his world for even like a millisecond, and that's very tempting. So I think that. But I read an article where Felicity Ward said, she said, I got the role came across my desk. I was so excited about it. And when I got it, I was over the moon, and I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. And then she said, and a minute later, I just was like a wave of dread came over me. She was like, I'm going to be dragged over the hot coals for this. No matter how good a job I do, people are going to hate it. And she's right. She's right. Like, people hated it before they saw it. They hated the idea. And then the trailer.
Keep going.
The trailer came out. And what kind of comments did you see under the trailer?
Just all negative stuff. I can't even remember what I said, but I was just like, oh God, this must look like shit. I didn't even watch the trailer, but
so but the trailer, it looked fine. But comedy trailers are really hard to do.
Yeah,
because it's like just saying your punchlines, a collection of your punchlines. It's like, a comedy trailer has to have lots of slapstick for you to actually laugh out loud. If it just has like a list, if you just put up your punchlines in a pencil case and hand it to someone, they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
There's no context.
There's no context. There's no setup. You don't understand the characters. You're not sure understand exactly why that scene is funny. But then when you watch the movie, you're like, "Holy shit, I get it. That is so funny." Like, I think like the trailer for Step Brothers. The only funny bits in the reasons why we laugh at that is because we know the actors and the silly faces, and also there's so much slapstick. So you're like, oh my God, this is going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
But in The Office, there's like a little bit of slapstick, and the actors are widely unknown.
Yeah, so I didn't know anyone except what's her name, Fiona Ward. Felicity Ward.
Felicity. Yeah.
But everyone else I'd never seen, I don't think.
Well, I think at least half of them, maybe even more, from New Zealand.
Oh, right.
I wonder why. I think So there were 3 directors. I want to say 3 directors, 1 writer, I think, and 3 directors. And 2 of the directors were New Zealand, and at least half the actors. Like, I mean, Edith Poor, you know, what does she play? Lizzie, the receptionist.
Oh, yeah.
Who's like Gareth.
Yeah.
You know, did you watch the British Office?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I loved. I loved it so much. How old are you?
I'm 34.
Yeah, okay, so you're a bit younger than me. I'm 38. So I remember watching it in high school and being so upset about it because I was like, it was the first time I'd watched something that was purposefully awkward.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, this isn't what you're supposed to feel in a show.
Yeah.
This is like, now I'm supposed to laugh and I was supposed to like the characters, but the main character, David Brent, is so unlikable.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, how has this happened?
And so unaware.
Yeah, and yeah, totally. But also at the same time, you're like, even as a teenager, I was like, I know someone like that.
Yeah.
You know, like he just represented, he just took the essence of everyone pretty annoying and unaware, and put it into one chubby character with a goatee and played it. And he's the character that takes you. You have to follow him throughout every scene, and so you are like, it feels like you're, you know, in primary school, you have to be like some really, or like you turn up to a new primary school and they're like, hey Tim, can you help Clay around? Can you do that for us? You're Clay's buddy, and Tim's the biggest loser of the whole school. So you're like, don't put me with him. Everyone's going to think that we're friends.
And you can see it just walking in the room. You see Tim. You're like, oh, not that guy.
No, anyone but Tim. I'd rather do it by myself. I'll work it out. So David Brent's our Tim, and we're like, no, I don't want to have to walk around the office with him, you know? So I think it was groundbreaking in its time, The Office, and it's one of the reasons it's become so so famous. And so I don't know if has there ever been a show that's been replicated this many times? I don't think there has been.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, I think the what's it called? It's the prank show in the US.
What is it? No, not with the guys who just hurt each other. Punked?
No, Impractical Jokers.
Oh, okay.
So
right, okay.
They've gone off and they've got their own, like, each country's sort of got their own version of that now as well.
Oh, okay.
Apart from that, like, The Office is everywhere.
Yeah. So I guess there's a few, like, you know, reality ones. So like, you know, Love is Blind and whatever the hell those ones are. But The Office is like, is a script, right? And the characters have to be based off another character, but you have to make it your own. Oh my God, so hard.
Yeah.
But each country's, I can't remember, it's countless countries that have had a go. I think it's like Sweden's had a go. Like I just thought it was America and UK, but it's not. It's actually heaps of European countries have had a go. And then Australia.
I think like India, Pakistan, like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so it's just so interesting that everyone's like, no, that's so great. We're not going to make one, like, we're not going to take that idea and like create something else. It's like, no, we're going to take that idea and create something so similar, and then have to pay, you know, Ricky Gervais and what's the other guy's name? Stephen Merchant.
Yeah.
So much money in order to do it. And so many countries have seen that as a good idea, which is fine. And I'm sure that, and a lot of them, I'm sure, have been embraced warmly. But when Australia did it, like, what is that? 20 years later?
Australia's got that tall poppy thing, though. So it's
I know.
Yeah.
I hate it.
So bad. You guys think you're fucking good enough to do this? Well, I already hate you. Yeah.
Yes. We're with our own worst enemy. No wonder, like, we don't support nearly enough like Australian telly shows. Like, it's so I will try and watch every single Australian television show unless it's sci-fi. I don't want that, no thanks. But there's but I like watch. I'm like, this is great. How is this not very popular? You know, like there's Fisk. The only reason why people liked Fisk, but the reason why people started to love Fisk is because it became internationally loved.
Yeah,
and everyone was like, oh, actually, no, we're really proud of Fisk. Like, you couldn't give a shit about it before, mate. So we do love making fun of people who give it a go in Australia.
Have you seen Colin from Accounts?
Yeah.
Oh, I
like
think
it?
that might be like the best thing we've created. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
obsessed with it.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. I love those two. Patrick Bramall and what's her name?
I forget.
Harriet Dyer, I think. They are excellent.
Yeah.
Have you watched Christmas with the Moody's, or just called the Moody's?
Nah.
You have to watch it, bro.
Okay.
It's so good. So the Moody's, and I think it's on ABC. Maybe it's on Netflix. It is it's the quickest script, and it is like the laughs per minute. Oh my God, it's so beautiful.
Oh, awesome.
You'll love it. And so Patrick Bramall's in that. It's an excellent cast, and it also has some beautiful character arcs. Like at the end, you like can really there's a really quite emotional bits, but you laugh so much. That one, the amount of people who've like, I've never heard of it. I'm like, how?
Yeah, wow.
How?
I might get onto it.
Funny.
ASAP.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a good one. I thought one thing that was interesting about The Office, and because I don't think I've seen a good positive. I don't think I've seen a positive review of the Australian Office, and I was so pleased that I liked it because I genuinely liked it. I laughed a lot, and I thought Felicity did an incredible job.
Yeah.
But one thing I thought was interesting is The Guardian went to the screening of it, so that the night before it was released into the public, and the reviewer gave it a 1 star, and then just said nothing interesting happens, and he felt really sorry for one character called her actual name. The actress name's Edith Poor, but she plays Lizzie, the receptionist.
Yeah.
Saying she was given the role of, and then he named the American character and said one of the funniest characters that has ever the actor, one of the funniest characters that has ever existed. She was given that one and told to make it her own. And how can you make something funnier that's already the funniest thing? And so,
yeah.
Well, we're not doing that though. I think we're like, why do we have to have seen the other ones in order to appreciate these? Like, how come we can't just, because a lot of people, The Office has been around for like over 20 years.
Yeah.
The David Brent one. So how come we can't just watch it as if we've not seen the other ones, or consider maybe other people have never watched the other ones yet?
It's just, I guess it's just hard though, because you have.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I haven't seen. I haven't watched the UK Office in a long time. I remember most of the scenes. I'd still do the David Brent dance every chance I get. But it's but I think that it just seemed like such a short-sighted thing to do, to be like, I'm not looking at this as someone's created something new. I'm looking at this as a direct competition with what's come before. Like, why does it have to be better than the other one? It's just been Australianized.
Yeah.
It's like, how come we can't appreciate that for what it is? And also, if we can't get anyone in Australia to write a positive thing about it, how on earth are we going to get anyone in from say America to be like, oh yeah, I guess that was pretty funny. One of the criticisms is like, nothing happened. It's like, sorry, heaps happened, but also it's supposed to be quite dark. Like, it's supposed to be in the office.
It's supposed to be relatable in the terms of like, we had to go through working from home and coming back. It's supposed to be, a little bit of a dramatization of a real office workspace. So like, it's not supposed to be a fire in the building every day or a terrorist attack or whatever this guy's expecting.
Exactly. And tell me what happened in the British one. Like his mate came in and was rude to people.
Yeah.
That happened. She has a version of that.
Yeah.
There's things that they took scenes from the British one, are inspired by those, and put their version to the Australian one. But they were different. But there was enough similarities to be like, I see that this is The Office, but there were enough differences to be like, but it's not that one. It's a different show. This is an Australian show. One guy said the only difference in the entire thing was that the main character and her right-hand man were played by women, and that's not enough difference. It's like, yeah, but now you're saying So do you want it to be the same?
Yeah.
Like if we did the same thing, do you know how embarrassing that would be? Like,
Just carbon copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Also,
change
there were
like the language.
heaps of differences. Heaps differences, but enough similarities. I think that they did a really good job. I don't know how I would have made it better. If it also impossible to get diehard fans of a show to embrace this one, you know?
Yeah, it is. I think Felicity Ward did a really good job of making that character her own. Because there are subtle differences between the boss in all of them. Like David Brent is more he thinks he's gonna be like this famous guitar playing singer or whatever. Michael Scott he seems like, I don't know, like he's got a learning disability or something. Like he truly seems fucking like proper dumb. Like he's like fully off the deep end and like completely detached from reality. Then Hannah Howard is she seems to like have more of an idea of people not liking her. Like she plays it off like everything's cool, but then she has like this look where she's like, I've fucked it here. Like she's got more awareness, and I like that about her, that she's not a complete like fairy, just like living this fantasy life where this is her family and everyone loves her, and she kind of mentions that, but you can see in the way that she like responds to some of the way people are questioning her, that she's like, I've made a mistake again. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's actually such a good point. And this probably does come down, it is a bit gendered, is that all she wants to do is, she doesn't necessarily, like, her priority, not like, you know, comparable to David Brent, where he just wants everyone to think he's amazing. And if they leave, whatever, he'll get a new person, as long as there is the exact same amount of people there to begin with, and as long as all of them think he's great. But Hannah genuinely wants the people that are there to be there. Like she, like, you know, the one where they do that excursion when they go to Phil's reptile.
I love Phil so much. Do you know that guy?
Holy shit. No, I don't know him, but he's so much like Brett Blake.
Yes.
I was like, holy shit, if this guy dies, we could replace him instantly. But that scene was so funny, and she just she could see Tina looked a little bit distant, and she was like, okay, we're going to have an award for the best out of office experience person. So that at the moment, someone in the lead, it's Lizzie.
They haven't even gone yet.
Tina's like, what the fuck is that? What is this award for? And then she gets all worked up because she thinks she's going to quit, and she starts to become really defensive and act like a kid in primary school who's just like, oh, do you know what? You can leave. That's fine. We don't even need you. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter about it. It doesn't matter. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm quitting my other job. She's like, oh, okay. Do you want to have a cuddle?
Yes.
And she's like, no. It's so funny. Yeah. And then a heartbreaking moment. And this is one thing that The Office does, I think, beautifully, is you cringe so hard, but you also, like, your heart bleeds in moments. As the exact same character that does it, which is Hannah Howard. How she's so awkward and gets everything wrong, and like the Melbourne Cup thing, like even in that episode alone, we have cringe and we have heartfelt. Like everything that she does, like she's eating.
She's always got food on her face every time she eats.
It's just the best. She eats Deb's cake out of the fridge with her hands, and then and she's annoyed absolutely everyone, but the bloke that she's invited along to be fun, she just wants him to like her back, because she was like, we have a pact that if we're not married by this stage, we'll get married. And then he's absolutely not interested at all. So you have a moment where you feel really sorry for her. But I think the saddest bit is when she's desperately trying to raise $220,000 so people can stay in this office, that she goes to remortgage her house.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, Hannah, this place is not worth $220,000 of your own personal money.
Yeah.
Especially considering she's a single woman, like it just makes you go, oh, this is all she's got.
Yeah, that was definitely a Michael Scott moment. Like, how
Oh
much of a
yeah.
loser is this guy? Like, yeah, if you're like you're trying to, the whole company's like work from home now, and you're so desperate to get him in because you've got nothing else outside of this
Nothing.
place.
Nothing. There's nothing. And she does, and you're right. She says really close to the start of the season. Um, she says, well, some people, some people have devoted their whole life to a workplace, and don't have family and don't have kids, and this is all they've got. Like, I don't know who they are, but that could be someone who's done that. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Even the bit where she's like, hey guys, I fixed it. This is a like a quintessential office moment. She's like, I fixed it. I spoke to the boss, and she said the office remains open. So we've done it. I've convinced her. Office stays open. And it's just 4 days a week now. Like, so you can work one day from home. And they were like, oh, that's amazing. Oh, you did that? She was like, I did that. That's what I did. And they were all like, well, we're not coming in tomorrow. Like, the entire team was like desperate to not come in. She's like, oh, some of you will be in. They're like, nah, none of us.
Yeah. And then the HR guy is just like, I know what really happened. Yeah.
He was great. I can't remember.
I love that guy. It's very deadpan. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that they got a really good balance. Like, they were, and also sometimes you do watch an Australian show and you go, oh, they really needed that person to have a few more acting classes or something like that.
I feel like there's something to do with like the accent that like doesn't work with acting or something. It's similar like Aussie hip hop. Like, I can't listen to Aussie hip hop. And
right. Okay.
Watching Australian like movies is kind of similar in that way sometimes. But I feel like it's easier in a TV show. Like Colin from Accounts was just like a breeze. But sometimes watching like a feature length film that's Australian, I'm like, oh,
like Animal Kingdom or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I because I watch a lot of Australian stuff. I just love it. I love when because I like a lot. I think I'm like driven by nostalgia. Like, a lot of my comedy shows, it's just all stuff from my childhood, or talking about my aunties or something like that. Like, it comes in to a lot of my shows because I love watching a show when someone's got a story or a background, or I can relate to it. This is just another way to say I'm a narcissist. And so they're so having an Australian show, I'm like, fuck, that looks like Auntie Joe. Or, oh my God, that's exactly what like Uncle Phil would have said. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, I love feeling like that I understand everything that's going on. Like, I'm like, you don't need to explain that. I get it. That's fine. I understand why she's driving that shit heap. It's because she lost her license. We don't need to talk about it. And so like when I watch Australian stuff, I feel like a connection to it.
Yeah.
But I know that the first time I watched an Australian show, I was like, this feels weird. This feels like it feels like Home and Away. You're like, oh, I can't take this seriously.
That's like watching that's like you're watching for your first time watching anything American. You choose Bold and the Beautiful though. Like, it's
true. It's true.
It's not the highest quality shit out.
It's true. Yeah, but I think if you're just not used to hearing that accent in a show, something that you hear just from the milk bar, you're like, what the hell? What are you talking about? But I thought The Office, what I was saying was like, I think the Australian Office had such a strong cast. There was no actor in there where you were like, oh, if only they'd just given that to someone else. So I reckon they made a mistake with that one. I think they all did really, really well.
I think so.
Yeah.
I liked the accounts lady, the lesbian. She was always having cigarettes.
Oh fuck, Deb.
And she was
so funny.
Tough as old boots.
So funny. Her and Lloyd, holy shit.
Yeah.
What a combo. What a beautiful combo. Lloyd looking up from his desk at her, because she's like highly competent but just fed up.
Yeah.
And she just absolutely hates everything about the place. But she goes like, she has that one beautiful line. She was like, Hannah is an idiot, swallowed by a moron, shat out by an imbecile. And I'm like, oh my God, so perfect. So So Deb sits across from Lloyd. The absolute. Oh, what about the pajama day, Clay, where his dick was out the whole day?
Yeah.
And pixelated jammies. It killed me.
So good.
Killed me.
I didn't catch it until like Greta looked at the camera and said something. I rewound it, and I was like, oh my god.
There's just some really beautiful moments in that scene where it's Hannah talking to the camera, but Lloyd's standing behind her, and it's just this pixelated thing behind it. Like it's not even supposed to be part of it, but you're just constantly reminded that Lloyd's wang is out and no one's telling him. Oh, but that's a beautiful moment. I think the combo between Lloyd and Deb was paradise, because Lloyd is that idiot. And Deb is so fed up, and when someone who's fed up has to deal with an idiot, that's when they like the nastiest version of themselves comes out. So when Lloyd says to her, like they're trying to raise that to $220,000, Lloyd says to her, "Hey Deb, how do you sell boxes?" She's like, "Are you serious right now?" Are you serious right now?
He sells like one box, but no one says anything for the day, and he's like, I'm killing it. A fucking idiot.
So he sleeps there. Oh, I thought he was brilliant. I thought it was great. I think and I think it's doing really well on Prime, whether people hate watching it or whatever, who cares why you're watching. That's why when people say like, I don't want to, like I'm going back to my childhood town to do my show. I don't really want the people from high school to come because I'm worried they're going to come to like, hate it.
Yeah.
I'm like, who gives a shit while they're there? They've paid tickets. Like,
yeah.
Who cares what they say afterwards? That's not on you. You're counting your money in the hotel after. Who cares? Yeah. So you can't worry about why people have come to your show. Same thing with The Office. They don't care why you're watching it. You're watching it. That's why it's like number one on Prime.
Yeah.
And I do think that people would be watching it ready to hate it. But Felicity has, I reckon, in my opinion, absolutely nailed it. And the reviews that are coming in all hating it as much as they are, I'm like, no, you made that decision before you watched it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I was ready to hate it just because of what I'd seen about the trailer. I thought Felicity was incredible. I thought Lizzie, I did think that she was trying to like carbon copy Dwight without any character arc. I thought she could have probably been written better. And I felt the time was mostly spent on Felicity. Like in the American one, the romance between Jim and Pam is very obvious, very early, and they're kind of the centerpiece for it, not Michael.
Okay.
But they sort of went all in on Felicity, which, I mean, she smashed it, so I get that. But the rest of the characters I felt lost out a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. We don't really learn anything about, like, because I don't even know. All we know is that Felicity has nothing but that, but we don't know why she has nothing but that. Like, we don't know, because we know, but this is like, because it's only the first season. Maybe the next season there'll be room for that. I think they're just establishing the vibe of The Office and like the surface level of each character. Because it's not, and you keep referring to the American one, I keep referring to the British one, which I think is perfect for this because I think a lot of people have watched both, but some people have only watched one of those. So this is actually great. So with the British one, David Brent, as the seasons go on, there's only 3 seasons in the British one, but you see him trying to find love, like him like going on dates and absolutely demolishing these dates, like in the worst possible way. And when there's a camera there, it's even more humiliating. Like I've got goosebumps thinking about how bad those dates were. But we don't see that in the first episode, or maybe even the first season, just how lonely he is. Because it's about we're creating like it an ensemble rather than this is about this person. We don't learn anything. And so at the end, it's such a beautiful payoff when Dawn and Tim get together. It's one of the best bits ever in any show, I reckon, is that their journey from being flirty to like her leaving, then to coming back. Oh my God, it's beautiful. But you can't get all like, so I think that's probably another obstacle is this that the Australian office has is we all have seen so much of the other ones. And so like the British one or the American one, that just because we watched the first season, we're like, yeah, but nothing's happened.
Yeah.
This is the first season.
Yeah.
This is the first season. Give them a minute. There'll be a second season for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think
do you reckon?
It's The Office. Like people love it enough to give it a watch just to see what it's like. And I just think that alone will like knock it out of the park. And then I think people will be able to make their own minds up and decide that they can actually watch it. It's not as bad as what the trailer made it look like, or what people said about the trailer, or these initial responses from fuckwits that work at newspapers that don't really know.
Yeah. Just you're never gonna please everyone. Like, you're never going to. It's the same thing with any comedy thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be people who come in and they go, like, I had one lady this year come to my show, and she was a mother as well, and I talked about lots of mother things in this show, and one of the things I talked about is after the girls were born, I went mad because I got postnatal anxiety and I had no idea, so I was just like running through life, and like exercised flat out, and I just went, I had no idea that I was mad, because I'd never had it before. So I was just like, well, I'm just moving quickly now. That's just the pace that mums move at. And I'd talk about this in my show, and this one mum left and wrote a message to one of my friends, who she's also mutual friends with, and said, yeah, look, it was funny, but so unrelatable. I couldn't recommend it. I was like, oh, do you think I was going to tell a story about your journey with motherhood?
Yeah.
Because that'd be fucking weird. Imagine. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm talking about
Yeah.
So you don't even know why people are watching certain things. You don't know why people go to stuff or what they're expecting. But you just have to be like, well, we know that this is funny, and there's going to be people who really love this, and there's going to be people who really fucking hate it, and that's okay. And it's a risk worth taking. It's just such a shame that it came out so much later than the other ones.
When people have watched the other ones 20 times already.
Exactly. And they know it's in the bones, like it's the dust has settled. It's like in our core memories exactly who these characters are. And then Australian offers come in and kind of like ruffled the feathers a bit. And we're like, well, wait, we've already learned enough about this. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's where they fell down. But otherwise, I think it does not deserve the hate that it's getting. And I really hope that there's a season 2.
What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it an 8. I wasn't sure whether I'd give it an 8. Maybe even more, you know what? Okay, because I'm like, what would I do? I think it's really important to be like, okay, so how would you fix that? You know, when someone criticizes something, I was like, okay, cool. What would you do different? I don't know what I would. I think, the thing that's missing is maybe a little bit more context from the characters, like a little bit more depth. But I think that's going to come. So you can't assume it's going to be this surface level for the next season.
You also can't assume a second season though.
I know, this is true.
So that's why it gets tough. Otherwise, it's like it may as well be called like the Hannah Howard show.
Yeah, but we don't learn it very much about Hannah.
But the camera just follows her, and there's like little bits and pieces of like, you know, what's Lloyd in the storeroom and stuff. But it's really just her. And yeah, like I said, she knocked it out of the park. So like, I get why you would. You know, if they've got 20 times more footage than that, and she's that good that you have to just use all of her footage, like I get that. But then it just sort of leaves you in this weird position where it's really just about her.
Yeah, but I'll be interested to go back to watch the first season of the British one or the American one and see like what differences, because I remember David Brent being in almost every single scene, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I can't remember it, because again, it's been years since I've seen it, and I think that's probably been advantageous for my affection towards the Australian one. But if you are putting them side by side, you're going to like one more than the other. And when you like one more than the other, if you're in a bad mood, you assume you hate one. And it's like, well, you probably don't hate it. You probably just like one more than the other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm probably more down towards a 6, but I did enjoy it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, great. I think it's good that people look. You might not have ever watched it. You might not have been like, I don't think I'm going to like it. Don't worry, because there's so many shows and there's so many things we can watch it. But again, it's number 1 on Prime.
Yeah.
So people are watching it, whether they hate watching it or not, doesn't matter. Hopefully, it gets another season. Australia needs some more shows out.
Absolutely. There. Yeah, and hopefully some more opportunities for other people come from it as well. Yeah,
for sure.
Hopefully see some familiar faces at some point. Now before I let you go, you've got a podcast with Brady Blake. With Hates.
Well, 2 podcasters, podcasters. That's how they say it in the industry. The first podcaster is with Brett Blake. It's called Work Hates. It's just about nightmare work stories, and we interview people. People come on and tell us. We mostly get comedians, but then when we're lucky enough, we get interesting people. we had a mortician once, which was so good. Cool. Yeah, so great. And then we've had like a rally car driver or race car driver. I don't know what Brett wants me to call him, but he drives cars fast. Okay. And the other podcast I have is called Your Two Drunk Aunties. I do that with Sammy Peterson, and that's just segments. Very silly podcast. Not that Brett's one's earnest, but the Two Drunk Aunties is very silly.
Yeah. Really good. And did you used to be a teacher? Is that right?
Yeah, high school teacher for 10 years. Yeah, my show. Yeah, sorry. Did
you ever have a boss that was on this type of level?
No, it wasn't a boss, but it was a colleague. Yes, who was. And I'm actually, the show that I'm doing next year is going to be about teaching.
Okay.
It's called Who's Talking, and I'm.
That's a good title.
It's good, yeah. Because I'm like, exactly. I'm like, it needs to be. It's not the entire show about teaching, so it can't be like a teacher's guide or anything. So it's like a lot of stuff's about teaching, but I keep thinking about this one flog that I worked with, and he was the biggest flog of all time. And how just when you think he can't get worse, he got worse. Like he'd get a goatee, and you'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't do it. I can't work with this man." And he was constantly putting in complaints about me. So I was like, yeah. So hey, I think I'm definitely not going to go back to teaching. So I think he's going to feature in my show. I'm going to mention him. Because everyone has worked with someone that's the worst person in the world. Like, where did you work with someone who was the worst?
I don't really know. I haven't had like any real characters. I've just had like shitty situations, really.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I've had fun little jobs. Like I worked at an Optus shop in Albury, and
oh wow, is that where you're from?
No, I'm from Adelaide. But I used to play basketball, so I was playing basketball in Albury for a couple of years.
Okay, gotcha.
And like just the characters in Albury, like it's a big meth town, and we had a full cracky come in, and I was working with another customer, and on her way out, she just like fingered my asshole. I've got it on Instagram. I've got the fucking security camera footage.
Oh my god, I'm going into your Instagram as soon as this is over.
It's pretty far back. I'll chuck it in.
It's like a Hopawati.
Yeah.
Hopawati.
Yeah,
oh my god. Hopawati stop a farty. Oh my god.
I'll chuck it in the story so you don't have to scroll because it's pretty far back.
Right. Yeah. I would be devastated if someone did that to me. I'd call the police, I'd call the FBI, I'd call fucking anyone, SCAS, come on, let's get this psycho off the streets. Oh my god, that's a really funny story. Did you just walk out? She just walked out. And no one. I don't think the woman that I was serving saw it, but none of my co-workers saw it. So I told them after, and because I'm a guy, Yes.
Instead of "Are you okay?" it was "Fuck, we can look that up and like let's laugh at the footage."
My God, that's brutal. Oh my
Um,
God.
But I had one assistant coach in one of my teams that was the brother of the head coach.
Okay.
And he was like sort of I'm cool with you guys. Like, I'm the guy that you can all talk to. And then he would like show up at the bar after games when we're all out together, and then he's just there and we're just like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, but that was the very
right. That is perfect.
vibe.
That's that is an office vibe for sure.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I can't believe you're here.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Who are you here with? Oh, just you guys.
Well, my date's not turned up. She said I was too good looking.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Hannah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So good. Very good.
No, but thanks heaps for taking the time out to be on the show.
Pleasure.
So people can find you where?
On Instagram. I'm actually put very little effort into anything else in my life apart from Instagram.
Yep.
TikTok, someone said you got to get on TikTok, and I'm on it a little bit. Oh God, it kills me. It actually physically hurts me to have to go onto my phone any more than I'm already on it. So just Instagram, Bron Lewis Comedy. And I'm doing like next year, the whole teacher show. This loser that I just mentioned will probably feature come to Adelaide, but only for 2 nights this year. So please come along. I'd love to fill it out.
Are you staying in Adelaide for spots at all? Like,
no, I
used just coming for the 2.
No, yeah, the last 3 years. So this will be my 4th show, and the last 3 years I've gone to Adelaide early, done spots, and done like my shows, and then gone and done a million of spots around it. And actually, you make more money from doing spots than you do your actual show.
Yeah.
But this time I'm only there for 2 nights. I think it's, with a family, we're learning as we go. You know that, like you're learning like the week how far you can push it, and so how far I could push it was maybe not 9 nights in Adelaide. Whilst he works full time, and we've got 3 kids, so I'm bringing it from 9 down to 2, and that is what we call a beautiful compromise. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. And have you been paying attention? People can catch you on from time to time as well. Work Kate. Sorry, what was the other one?
Your 2 drunk aunties.
2 drunk aunties. That's right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Clay. Thanks for having me on. It was nice to chat with you about it. Sorry if you were dreading watching that show.
Oh no, I wasn't dreading it. I just I wasn't sure what I was gonna watch it. I'm not sure when. The bad reviews from the trailer got to me.
Yeah. And I think that got to a lot of people. So I hope people ignore those and just watch it. Just have a minute. It's 20 minutes. Watch the first one. If you don't laugh, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But if you do laugh, because you will, and there is a scene where she's sitting in the car park covered in meat. It's very funny. It's very funny.
Yeah. All right. Thanks heaps, Bron. I'll hopefully catch you around sometime soon.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Thanks, mate. See you later.
Bye.